What's up, family? How y'all doing? It's your girl, Dr. Shonna. I'm so happy to be back here on a Friday. So y'all know it is Mental Health Fridays, and I have a great conversation for you all today. So I'm glad you all are in the chat room waiting for me. Some people is losing their patience, but it's okay. I got to make sure my stuff is in order for me to present to you guys appropriately. So with that being said, go ahead and do me a favor. Share the video because we have to get it back up there so Instagram and Facebook can know that I am live, and we're going to have a really deep conversation about Chicago, Illinois' Safety Act. We're going to talk about what you need to know about the no bail abolishment, and we need to talk about what's going on in our community. So go ahead and share the video. Family, if you are on YouTube, what I'm going to need you to do is go ahead and give the video a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you want. Whatever you want to do, just go ahead and interact with the YouTube algorithms and share the video. Make sure you drop it on your wall. Make sure you drop it on your Facebook page. Make sure you drop it in somebody's inbox because we all need to have this conversation because this is going to impact every last one of us. Facebook family, if you are there, go ahead and give the page a like and make sure you follow the page. Shout out to everyone in the chat. I love you all. Make sure you follow the page. Give it a thumbs up, give it a heart, give it a smile, give it an angry face. Whatever you do, just engage with the algorithms on Facebook so that they can know that I am here. Let's go ahead and get started without further ado. As I stated in my title, this is going to be an interactive discussion. So I'm going to need y'all to all wake up today. Wake up, because I need you guys to be on point because this is all about critical thinking. I am going to give you guys 5 cases. 5 cases. I don't need y'all to think about it too hard or too deep. I'm going to ask you guys to respond to these 5 cases and tell me what we should do. After we have the discussion of these 5 case studies, we're going to go into some really good information that's going to go ahead and get us talking, get us prepared, and get us ready for what's to come. Because, anytime, with all due respect to the Democrats in the room, let me just switch that up. So all due respect to all the politicians in the room, because they all evil. So with all due respect to them, anytime there's changes like this, you guys, some of you guys, not all of you all, get too happy too soon. And I always want you guys to start critically thinking and see how this all will impact you in the future. Do not get too excited. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about these case studies. Now, the first case study I want to bring you guys to, let me go ahead and share my screen. Somebody's from Houston. Shout out to Houston in the room. My Houston people out there. I don't think I have any case studies from Houston today, but it's not like you guys are absent of that stuff anyway. So just act like I'm talking about Houston, okay? So the first thing we're going to talk about is out of Louisiana, okay? This is a woman out of Louisiana who was a substitute teacher. Did y'all hear about this? She was a substitute teacher, and apparently a student, a female student, snitched on her and told the principal that she left early. She got upset at this student and she conspired with 5 other children, bribing them to give them $5 to bully this girl, to bring her down to the floor. In fact, I think the language she used was to tackle them because she was upset about this student snitching on her and telling the vice principal that she left early. Out of the 5 students she tried to convince to tackle this child to the floor, all right, 3 of them said, okay, we'll do it. They managed to get the girl to the floor. This is all caught on camera. With that being said, she didn't give them the $5. There's no exchange of money on the camera, but it is an exchange of her congratulating the 3 people that brought the girl down to the floor and beat her up. She was seen leaving the girl there on the floor, didn't intervene whatsoever. The girl went home, told her parents. Her parents called the principal called the cops. This woman was arrested and charged. So the question I have for you all, drop it in the chat. The question I have for all of you guys is, should she be let out with bail or without bail? That's a simple question. Don't take too long to respond. based on the information that is presented. Don't overanalyze the case. Don't start asking no questions because you know how you guys do. Should she be let out without bail? Meaning you promise to come back for your trial so we can find whether you're guilty or innocent and then make a decision what to do with you afterwards. Should she be let out on bail or without bail? So some people say bail, high bail. Somebody else says bail. Somebody else says with bail. Come on, let me get a few more in. Come on, family. Go ahead and let me know what you see. Let out with bail. One person says no bail, so we're going to highlight his name, right? So he says no bail. All right. Anybody else? Anybody else? Somebody says without bail. Somebody says no, she should not be let out with bail. Somebody said give her bail. Okay. All right. So we got the reaction coming in. Somebody else says bail, give her bail. Okay. So thank you for that. I'm going to go ahead and start with this story. All right. Now we're going to go on to the next story, family. Let's go on to the next story. This story comes to you out of Cincinnati, Ohio. So let me go ahead and bring up the story, and I'm going to tell you about that. Somebody else said it's gonna depend. See, always gotta be one that ride the fence. Always one that ride the fence. I just said say bail or no bail, and this person gotta ride the fence. Just go along with the program for a moment, please. Here it is. We have a person that turned himself in. His name is Josiah Hassel. He's believed to be roughly 26 years old. He might be 27 by now. In November 2021, are you guys all listening? Y'all need to really catch this. So calm down, slow down, and listen. November 2021, he allegedly came up to Jamonte Brown when Jamonte Brown was waiting for a ride, put a gun to the back of his head, and pulled the trigger, killing Jamonte Brown in broad daylight. This was all caught on video camera. It showed a black vehicle pulling up to the scene. He gets out of the passenger side of this vehicle. He goes up to Jamonte, pulls the trigger in front of other people. Jamonte appears to be talking to two other people that are waiting outside with him. So he shoots this guy in the back of his head in front of two other people, gets in the car, and speeds off. He's facing murder charges for allegedly killing Jamonte Brown. And the reason why I say allegedly, because although his face was covered, there was no gloves on his hand when he was holding that gun. He got in a vehicle. There could be prints in a vehicle, but they still got to prove it was him, right? So that's why I'm using the word allegedly. He has never had a criminal record allegedly. And he took 6 months to turn himself in. According to his attorney that you can see right there in the picture, his attorney said it took 6 months because the family was trying to accumulate some money so that they can find representation for him. Okay? The question for you all, family, remember this is interactive. Do not think too much. Just go ahead and write it on the screen. Write it in the chat. Should Josiah Hassel be let out with no bail, meaning no money having to come out his pocket to walk the street, or should he be held with a bond, with bail? Okay? So let's go on. Somebody said, oh, didn't. You know what? I don't know why I put you up there. That was by accident. It's moving too fast. Somebody else says no bail. Somebody says no bail. Somebody else says bail. Another person says with bail. Somebody else says bail. So we have mixed reactions. So some people say he should not have any bail or bond. Some people say he should have a bail or bond. Some people say just throw him under the cell and have him guilty before he's proven innocent. No. All right, so we have that going on, okay? Let's go on to the next one. See where we're going with this, family, right? Because I want to see how y'all think. I want to see how you think. We're going on with the next family. This is coming to you from Queens, New York. Where are all my New Yorkers in the chat? You know how we do. Where's my New Yorkers? Queens, New York. So let's go ahead and get this out there. Let me see. The first one is, it's a lot of New York ones I have up here, so I'm trying to make sure I get it right. Okay? This one is coming out of Queens, New York. Now, you know about this story that happened a while ago, back in August of this year, August 24th, 23rd, somewhere around there, 2020. All right? This is a case of a cab driver that was beaten to death by 5 offenders. Out of the 5 people, 2 are 20-year-old males, the other 3 are teenagers, and they are females. In this situation, these teens and this young adult is charged with gang assault. I don't know what the rest of the charges are, but as of the last time I looked at it, it was gang assault. They skipped their fare. This cab driver, who appears to be an immigrant from maybe an African nation, have gotten out the car. He has gotten out the car to chase these teens to get his money. Of course, if y'all know New York and other areas, some areas you don't get out your car and chase nobody. But I guess when you need your paper and you're trying to make a living, because America apparently is the land of the living and the land of the free and the land of opportunity for who? Not me, but however, you know what I'm talking about. He wanted his paper so he could make sure he could feed his family. He got out, approached the teens, and they went to whooping his behind. Let's just be honest about it. Went to whooping his behind. He tries to get up. They stomping on him, kicking him in his back. I know this because it's all caught on video. He finally makes it up again, and one person, I don't know which one it was, throws a significant blow to his head, knocking him down. He hits his head. He later dies. 3 teenagers, 2 20-year-old guys. Should they be held with bail or without bail? Anton, damn is not an answer. With bail or without bail? So no bail, without bail, no bail for your asses, no bail, bail, with bail, without bail, okay? So I want y'all to do understand what I mean when I'm asking y'all no bail or bail, because I think some of y'all might got it confused, and that's okay because we're going to go over it today in today's mental health lesson, right? It's okay. Some of y'all got a little bit confused. You're saying without bail. So I want to be clear what that is. Without bail means you promise to come back to face your trial so we can determine if you're innocent or guilty. Okay? With bail means you have to post money to get out of jail until your trial. Right? If you're not able to post your money, that's on you. You will sit in jail until you either get money or your trial comes up. So I want to make sure we're very clear. So some people are saying with bail. Somebody says bail, that was a time delay. Oh, okay. With bail. Okay. So you all got it? Let's go on to the next case. Just making sure you're all with me. While I'm bringing up the next case, y'all know what y'all have to do. Go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, view on Facebook, like and follow the page, and share the video. Because this is a conversation y'all all going to need to have, because your kids might be caught up in this kind of crap as well. I'm just being honest with y'all. Don't get all sensitive. So let's go on to the next case. Once again, coming out of New York City. And this one is coming from Brooklyn, New York. Now, some of you all might be aware of this case right here in Brooklyn, New York, where these 2 suspects are seen walking, once again, caught on video. Shout out to 2022 and everything's caught on camera, right? That's right. On camera makes a difference. Shout out to 2022 where everything is caught on camera. They are walking in a mall in Brooklyn, New York. They happen to go up to a young man who is by himself. I don't know how old the victim is. He's standing there with a group of people that's there. He's not with them, but there are other people in the area. As he's standing there facing the opposite direction of these guys, meaning he cannot see them walking up behind him, the guy with the white t-shirt, not the wife beater, but the t-shirt with the sleeves, clocks back, bam, knocks him out. His body hits the floor. Boom. His body is not moving. He went to the hospital, woke up, had a situation, whatever the case is. He's going to survive, but knocked him out and walked away like another day in the park. And nobody who was present did anything about it, not even help up this boy who is laying on the floor, unresponsive. Nobody, or should I say lying on the floor, because laying is what books do, people lie, but lying on the floor, non-responsive. No one is helping him. No one is giving him help. No one is calling 911. Everyone is just looking. Somebody, a security guard or somebody walked over him and kept it moving as he lies there on the ground unconscious. And these two people walk away. Now, if and when they're caught, people in the comments, come on, y'all. Should they be given bail? Meaning, I'm going to set a price for you to get out of jail until your trial date, or I'm going to let you go with no bail, and you promise to come back to stand trial. Family, bail or no bail? Everyone is saying, wow, and shocked, right? Everyone is surprised at this. Right? So now we have it. We have bail. We have no bail. So they should walk and come back. Somebody else says bail. Somebody else says bail. Somebody says bail for everyone. Somebody else says bail. Somebody else says bail. Okay. So they think these people should be given bail. They should not have to walk out of the jail or out of the courtroom without any money being attached to their heads. Somebody says bail. I was confused. No, don't worry about it. I got you. I got your back. Okay. Bail. Let's go on to the next story. Y'all understand where I'm going with this, right? We almost finished. Let's go on to the next story. This one is coming out of the Bronx. Now, I hope y'all really paying attention to what I'm saying because it's going to start getting a little bit more interesting, okay? This one is coming out of the BX where I am born and raised. Ooh, yes, Lord. The BX. That is my place. Here we go. This is Papi Chulo. All right. Now, the reason why I picked this picture, because I want you to be able to look at the months and the dates: March 2019, July 2020, December 2020, April 2021, August 2021, March 2022. I want y'all to pay attention to that. This one right here is a guy in the Bronx who, outside of a restaurant, decides to go and sucker punches this guy in the back of his head, causing severe damage to this guy. He survived as well, I believe, but knocked his behind cool out. This is a guy who is not unknown to the criminal justice system. He is a repeat offender. He was convicted as a sex offender by raping a 17-year-old, I believe, back in the 90s. He has a lifetime parole on his head. They arrested him on this assault, and then they let him out to roam the streets despite the fact that he has violated his parole by knocking somebody's ass out on the streets of the Bronx. Now, the question I have for you all is, should he get bail or should it be no bail? Once again, no bail means we trust your word. We're going to let you out. You're going to bring your behind back. So you could be standing trial and we could determine if you're guilty or innocent. Versus give him a bail that says we're going to hold your behind because you good and crazy running out here knocking people up. You were disrespecting our justice system already. You're out on lifetime parole. You don't care about nobody's life but your own. And because of that, we're going to hold your behind with a high bail until you get sent back to jail for violating your parole. Should he be with bail or without bail? Right? Somebody said he should have to be making bail. And last but not least, somebody said, wait, hold his butt, violate his ass, right? Now, it's funny how the responses with this guy is a little bit different, right? It's a little bit different with some of you guys. It's, before it was like, no bail, without bail. Oh, he shot him in the back of the head. Oh, let him go home. Let him eat his cereal with his family and take his time before his court date. Let him just go ahead. He didn't mean to shoot that kid in the head. And besides, we don't know if it was really him. He had a mask on. Who knows? The killer could still be out there. And now you guys are like, oh, no, this one here, lock him up. Lock him up. Let's go on to the very last case, and then we're going to get on with our lesson. The very last case. I love the fact that you guys are all interacting because this makes it better for all of us, right? It makes it better. So this one is coming out of, once again, I'm embarrassed to say I'm from New York City, right? I'm not embarrassed, but I'm embarrassed. This is coming out of New York City once again, and we're going to take it to Chelsea. So I did the Bronx. I did Queens. I did Brooklyn. And now we're going to take it to Chelsea. See, Chelsea is a community that's believed to be a safer part of New York City. You can walk the streets at night and nothing allegedly would happen to you. But in this case, you don't have to walk the streets at night for anything to happen to you. You can walk the streets at 11 o'clock in the morning, like this guy holding his lip. So the guy you see in the all black with the brick in his hand is a guy that was walking down the street, looking up and down the street to see who was around, who was watching him. And this is all caught on camera, We love cameras. And he bent down, picked up a brick, and decided he was going to bash this person in his head as this person was sitting on the stoop eating his lunch at 11 o'clock in the morning. Hit him for no apparent reason. The attack seems to have been unprovoked. Seems to have been. I wasn't there. And this happened September 14th, 2022. This suspect is still at large. No one knows where he is at. So there could be a lot of circumstances tied to this one. He seems like he's not well in his head. He might have a mental health problem. And for some reason, he just felt the need to attack this guy, bust him in the head with a brick, knocked him out. He didn't even know he was knocked out. He woke up in the hospital with tubes down his throat. So with that being said, should he be given bail or no bail? So Tamiko says with bail. Somebody else says no bail. Somebody says with bail. Somebody says New York City is a zoo. It really is, baby. Really is. Somebody said put his ass in a mental institution. Somebody said bail. Somebody else says bail. We have another bail. Quite interesting. Y'all want to take this poor guy with the mental illness and put him in jail with bail that he's probably unable to pay. I hope you know where I'm going with this, right? Somebody said he should be... Now, you know I can't say that out loud on YouTube, but he should be murdered? Okay. Right? Bail. So let's get into the conversation, family. How y'all feel about that? How are you guys feeling like that? Now I want to take you back. Let me go to my notes. Catch him if you can. Yeah, they're going to catch him because in New York City, they catch everybody. Let me tell you something about them cameras. New York Cities and other communities that got cameras everywhere. Oh, they're going to catch his behind. They're going to catch every last one of us, just like they caught Osama bin Laden. They're going to get every last one because those cameras track you, baby. They see you in one area and they go from one camera to another camera to another camera and they watch all your steps, baby, and they're going to get you. Now, if they want to get him, they can get him. They can walk up and down in shelters and get this man because I don't know if he has a house. He might have a house, but who knows? But they go up and down the streets and they're going to catch this guy because if this guy is not mentally well, he's probably not even aware of the severity of his crime or the fact that his face is all over TV. He's probably having another day in the park, eating some sandwiches and asking for some quarters. We don't even know what's really going on. But here's what I want to tell you guys, the reason why I decided to do this. Now, I was quiet. I was trying to mind my business and just stay in my own little world like I've been telling you guys I've been trying to do. And then I saw the internet started going crazy. Everyone is talking about the purge is here. Now, the purge been here, just to be honest with y'all. The purge has been here. If you have not been paying attention, then you are sleeping under a rock. However, The reason why they were saying the purge is here, I don't necessarily agree with that. Let me tell you why. Now, y'all got to understand that we are in a political season right now. Voting is coming up. A major voting is coming up in November. And we know that people are going to start doing a lot of things to play on your emotions, to get you guys all angry, all upset, to make sure they influence the way you think. Now, if you all have been with me for a long time, for the new people, shout out to the new people who have not been with me for a while. Shout out to all of them. But what I'm saying to you all, those who have been here for a long time know I've covered so many topics about propaganda, about conditioning of your mind, about how they know how to influence the things that we buy, the things that we eat, the places that we go. All of this stuff is influenced through propaganda all the time. Where did that whole conversation of the purge happening in Illinois come from? Are y'all even aware where it came from? Why has that taken hold recently, where this is about a law that was passed in 2021, if I'm not mistaken? People are in full-blown emotional panic, and they're scared that the purge is coming. The purge has been here. So what are you afraid of? I mean, you ought to be afraid. But when I say, what are you afraid of? Why now are people acting crazy? Is it because they really do believe it's here? Or is it because the internet streets are telling you to be afraid because the purge is here? Because the last time I checked, word on the street is the Safety Act goes into effect January 2023. That is what's being put out there. Now, there's some information about that that's not accurate. It's a little twisted, a little off. And on the street, they're saying some of the violent crimes that are out there are now going to be non-detainable, such as second-degree murder, such as drug-induced homicide, aggravated assault, kidnapping, and much more. They're afraid that because the Safety Act is going to be released in January 2023, these crimes that was once assigned a bail will no longer get bail, and people are going to be running around the street acting up, right? Just follow me for a second. And that's where this whole idea is. Like, a clip had went on around the internet. There was not newspaper, like reputable newspapers, but when it first started, it was like some propaganda that was spread, political propaganda that was spread, that got people really worked up, saying, oh my God, the purge is here. You could commit any violent crime, get off, and nothing is going to happen to you. You won't be detained, and you'll just have to wait your day in court. Meanwhile, you just killed a man. This is freaking bananas. This is berserk. And people are scared. They're scared. A lot of people are nervous. People are reacting because using the word, the purge is here, is going to create fear in a lot of people. But I want us to dig a little bit deeper, people, okay? I want you to understand things from a deeper level. First of all, the Safety Act was enacted in 2021. And for those of you guys who don't know what the Safety Act stands for, it stands for Safety, Accountability, Fairness, and Equity Today. Sounds like something some liberals will come up with. Safety, accountability, fairness, and equity today. That's what the Safety Act stands for. And part of this is because of the so-called criminal justice reform that many of you guys have been pushing for. Yeah, I'm going to include some of y'all in there as well, because some of y'all be posting the most craziest thing. And I say to myself, have you really thought that all the way through? Are you pushing an agenda you believe in? Or are you pushing an agenda that was given to you by, I know y'all don't like me when I say this, but that's okay, the Democrats? I know you don't like me when I say, because some of you are like, oh, she Republican. No, you're inaccurate, right? I criticize both. But recently, the Democrats have been doing some real stupid stuff. And a lot of the times we fall for it. We go right along with it. Somebody says Safe Terrorism Act. Oh, I got to put that on the screen, the Safe Terrorism Act. Here's what it seeks to change, allegedly, the Safety Act. And the reason why I say allegedly, I'm going to tell you at the end of this video why I say allegedly, so you have to stay to listen to the end of this video because I'm going to give you something else to think about, okay? But it's supposed to address policing, pretrial sentencing, and corrections, meaning when you get sentenced and you get sent to jail and stuff like that. Along with the Safety Act is a portion of it called the cash bail abolishment, right? So they are supposed to be, it's called the no cash bail policy. So in essence, it's abolishing cash bail. The questions that I just started asking you guys in the feed. They want to say, listen, we got to do away with this cash bail because it is unjust to have cash bail. And this was created on the premise of different injustices that have been noted in our society that says because of these things, there are more Black people, and they always separate us for some reason, right? They say Black people and people of color. Woo! Because there are more Blacks and people of color held in jail with bonds and bails that they cannot afford to make while they're sitting there for lower offenses, waiting to trial, and sometimes trial does not come right away. We need to get done with cash bail. We need to make this system just and fair. But it's a little piece of information that many people who were up in arms missed. So let's go over that. The no cash bail policy falls within the pretrial Fairness Act. Make sure you listen to what I'm saying. It falls within the Pretrial Fairness Act. Look it up. It creates new protocols for pretrial release, and it also creates a new protocol for detention decisions. Who gets detained and who doesn't. The premise for no cash bail policy is people are arrested, and like I said, they've never been convicted of a crime. They're detained. They have to await trial for long periods of time. And the argument is that cash bail criminalizes poverty. If they can't make the bail, they sit in jail. Mainly Blacks. Like I said, a third of the population that sits in jail, they can't make bail in Illinois is said to be Blacks. They have the argument on the popular case of Kalief Browder. Now, y'all remember that brother there that was in Rikers Island, which was an effed up case, if I can say so myself. He was charged of something, a crime that he never even committed, over a book bag, something like he stole somebody's book bag, and the guy pointed out whoever, the cops picked him up, put him in jail. Bail was set for $3,000. Unfortunately, Browder's family could not make the bail of $3,000, and he sat in jail with no trial for a long time, to the point where he was tortured in jail. He was beat up. It was terrible. By the time they let him out of jail, he wound up not being able to take the trauma that he had experienced while he was in Rikers Island, which is the worst freaking jail ever, right? And he killed himself. So they're basing that argument on that. But it's no surprise to me that they would use Kalief Browder, or they would use Black people as the premise of saying, oh, it's unjust, we have to set this, we got to get rid of it. And so many of us, some of y'all included, we don't ask the right questions. We just go along with it and we say, yes, it's a great thing. And yeah, people should not sit in jail. And sometimes they lock people up that didn't do anything. And these things are true. These things are true. And then they're going to set a high bail and they can't get out. They didn't even commit the crime. They sit in there. It's not fair. They shouldn't have any bail. Right? So you always got to go behind the scene. Who drafted this? So that's my question I have for y'all. Who drafted this? Who was behind the idea of no cash bail? Who was behind the idea of this so-called criminal justice reform? Who? Who? Right? So somebody says Biden, right? With who? With whom? With who? Biden is doing this in conjunction with who? I need y'all to start thinking, because anytime you come to this channel, it is a critical thinking channel. All right? Of course, this person says Soros. Okay, who? Come on, family. Family, I'm talking to the family here, not the long distance cousins. With all due respect, not the cousins. Family. Somebody says Clinton. Somebody says Congress. Oh, y'all need to really start reading. Y'all really need to start reading and waking up. Because I'm gonna tell y'all right now, and we're gonna trace the dots. We're gonna lead it all the way back. We're gonna connect it. The Black Caucus and other grassroots organizations, which Soros can be a part of that as well, right? The Black Caucus. The Black Caucus. Why is that important, family? Why is that important, family? Why do you think I'm bringing it up as a part of this discussion? I'm going to really need y'all to wake up and start thinking. Why is that important? Don't worry, I'm going to tell you anyway. Here's what you really need to know. Detention is going to be upheld, allegedly, when there's a threat, a serious threat to the public, or there's a suspicion of flight, meaning this person is more likely to take off and not come back for trial. And what they're doing is those things, that consideration, we're going to look at this on a case-by-case basis, and we're going to make this consideration for those who have forcible felony charges, such as treason, first-degree murder, second-degree murder, predatory sexual assault, robbery, burglary, aggravated arson, aggravated kidnapping. We're going to look at kidnapping as a whole, aggravated battery that causes bodily harm. We're going to look at discharge of firearms, stalking, etc. Did y'all catch that? Or did I read that too fast? Because some of y'all need to understand what I'm saying. See, the system will sell you a dream, and a lot of y'all go with it. About time criminal justice reform is coming because somebody has told you this is criminal justice reform. I'm glad it's here because it's not fair. Not everybody can afford bail. This is all true. And I'm not saying that these are not legitimate concerns, but we have to really think. Somebody says, sounds familiar. You know what it is, Alex. Tell me why it sounds familiar, Alex. See, Alex is one of them students that be doing her homework and she want to raise her hand. And if you don't pick on her, she just blurt out the answer anyway. I want Alex. You got permission today, Alex. Blurt out the answer. Why does it sound familiar? What does it sound like? What does it sound like? Right? What does it sound like? I'm going to need y'all to stop being emotional about things. Not you, Alex. I'm saying in general. I'm going to need y'all to stop being emotional about things because we think that things are great when we hear it. This is good. Alex, you got that answer wrong, right? I mean, America is the overall answer, but it's not the specified answer. But keep on. You getting close, right? You getting close, Alex. Keep on going. But we all get excited about these kind of things. See, when the Black Caucus, with all due respect, puts their hands on certain things and they start working with the Democrats to put certain things in order, I always question it. I don't care that a judge is going to review the cases and determine whether or not this person is going to have bail or cash bail. We already know that this is an unjust system. So even if this is in place, we already know there's still going to be people that don't get the fair end of the stick. See, they're using us for a bigger agenda, and we're not even aware that we are pawns on the chessboard. And I say it all the time, family. Stop getting excited when they use you as the poster child. They're using you as the case study. They're using you as an example because they know it's going to play on the hearts of the people because they're constantly and consistently beating in your head, racist America, racist America, racist America. You do that enough, not that it's not true, but you do it enough, people are going to be angry. And anything that seems like it's getting justice for the poor little Black people in America that everybody is against, Black people get excited about this kind of stuff. Black people are getting excited about this kind of stuff. Here's somebody who got an A. Here's somebody else who got an A. Right? Y'all better check that. Here are the people who get an A. These are the people who get an A in my class. Here's another person that gets an A in the class. Here's another person that gets an A in the class. Y'all better come on now. Y'all better come on. Y'all got to wake up. Y'all got to wake up. These are the people who get an A in class. See, anytime you see them using black people as the premise of passing laws, you ought to be suspicious about it. You ought to be suspicious about it. This is what you all need to know about this. This is where you guys have to think. The Safety Act does not, and I'm going to say it again, it does not guarantee that you're going to get out free. An A in the class. It does not guarantee you are going to get out free. See, they're pumping you with this information to incite fear in you because there is an election coming up. It is a strategy. It is a trick to confuse you and to co-opt and hijack your mind. And many of you guys always lose. No matter how many of us come on here and tell you things not to get overly excited of, we always tell you guys to sit back, think about this as a whole, put the pieces of the chess board down and see where you land on that board. Are you in a high position or are you a pawn? But that's just too much work for some people to do. That's too much work for to do. Here's another thing you need to know about the Safety Act. People who have low-level offenses, honestly, if you have a low-level offense, and when I say low-level, I'm talking about a low-level offense. A low-level offense should not be made to sit in jail. A low-level offense. Let me give you an example of my mind when I think about low-level offenses. Shoplifting, right? You stealing some meat from the grocery store. You happen to put on 2 pairs of jeans under your jeans. You shouldn't have to be sitting in jail with no ridiculous crime. Maybe you was having an open container. Maybe you was smoking some weed. Maybe, you just bought some weed from the weed man and they pulled you over and they saw that ounce on you or that eighth on you and they decided to lock your ass up, right? Maybe, I don't know, you got in a fight with your sister in your house, because some of y'all do stuff like that, right? With all due respect. Maybe you got in a fight with your sister in the house and the cops got called, and because it was domestic violence, you get arrested for that, right? Because it was domestic violence, they lock y'all both up. And the judge ain't there and nobody can do nothing. You sitting your ass in jail. And then the judge is just so tired of you because this is your third fight. This is your third fight in your house with your sister or on your block, and they lock your ass up. Can I keep going on with this kind of stuff? Y'all get the point when I'm talking about low-level offenses, right? Maybe you was on somebody's property and they didn't want you on their property, so they called the cop and you got arrested for trespassing. But although you haven't stolen anything, you haven't burglarized anything, you haven't put your hands on something, maybe you climbed in somebody's window and you took some money, some quarters they had on their floor, and maybe you took their iPhone 14 and you ran out the house with it, but you ain't hit nobody, you ain't have no weapons on you. I'm just saying, these are low-level offenses. I mean, would you agree that these are low-level offenses? So what are the low-level offenses they're talking about that you'll be let out for? Is it any of those cases I showed you? Would it be walking up to somebody and shooting them in the back of the head? Low-level offense, let them out. Would it be jumping your cabbie, beating him up, knocking him out, and ultimately killing him? That's second-degree murder because, it was no intent, but he died. Would that be a low-level offense? I'm asking you guys questions because I need y'all to really think about this. Would that be a low-level offense? How about what about the teacher who paid the students or said that she would pay the students $5 each if they were to rock this one girl for snitching and left her on the floor crying, sent her home to her mama with tears that she got beat up by 3 kids while the teacher watched? Would that be a low-level offense or is that not a low-level offense? I need y'all to really think about those kind of things, because when you hear something like this, you need to say, who does this apply to? Will this law apply to me? Or would it be used for other people? Who's going to implement these laws? What states are going to implement these laws? What is the crime population in these laws? And will it make a difference? Would the jail cells not be filled up, or will they be filled up? Are we committing low-level offenses, or many of us committing super forcible felony offenses? I mean, I need us to really start thinking about these kind of things. This bill is in response to the things that you people, not all of y'all on this, because we critical thinkers on this page, but when I say you people, I'm talking about the public, going out there with Black Lives Matter, tearing up shit, protesting, right, saying crazy things, defund the police, fire the police, we don't want no police, we want to police our own streets. I mean, I'm just saying, let's just be honest. We don't want no cops. There was no cops around when the kid got bashed in his head and lied there on the ground. The suspect is still not arrested. We don't want no cops. Don't get no cops up in here. There was no cops around when that guy that had all those previous charges and he's on a lifetime parole who knocked that guy out and put him in the hospital. There was no cops around for that. We don't want no cops. We can do this ourselves. We can police ourselves, right? We don't want no cops around. Okay, so when he got knocked out, he should have ducked, right? This is how I feel some of us be thinking. And although we don't say it, some of the things that I hear, you might as well just say that. Because the reality is this can happen to any one of us. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care how educated you are. People are not well in our community. They are, and now when I say our community, I'm not talking about our community in terms of melanin. I'm saying in America, people are not well. I can only talk about America. I'm not talking about any other country. I'm talking about here. They're not well. So you're telling me that this should happen to these people as though you're exempt, that this will ever happen to you. So we don't want no cops until somebody knock your ass out in the mall. I'm just trying to say. I'm asking a question. Because I know this conversation is going to bother people, but that's okay. Because I'm not the person who's going to come out saying crazy shit that don't make sense to me. Some things make sense that we complain about and some things don't make sense. So when you're standing in the mall and your ass get knocked out, don't send me no videos. Especially if you got all through your page, all this crazy talk you've been having. Don't send me no videos talking about help me find the person that knocked me out. I'm just saying. So because if we let somebody out who puts a gun to the back of somebody's head, blows it off, in broad daylight, gets in his car, walks away, and he's missing for 6 months before he turned himself in, and we think that's okay, we're doomed. We're doomed. If that is the premise of this so-called criminal justice reform, if that is the premise of it, and we allow that to be okay, where are we going as a society? Where are we going as a people? I'm just asking a real serious question because I don't know if we're having these kind of conversations. We're angry. We're constantly angry all day. But then again, when you have so much information pumped into you that's centered on being angry, you're not going to think. All you're going to do is be angry all goddamn day. But are you thinking? Are you thinking? But this is what we protest for. We want to get rid of this. We want to get rid of that. We don't want this anymore. And then when the Black Caucus says, yeah, it's a good idea, we're going to draft this and put this together, and Biden's saying, yeah, it's a good idea. Biden, again, that's the key word, Biden. Keyword, we're about to get into while I wrap this up. Biden's the keyword. Biden, once again, is, saying, yeah, this is great. I love the fact that I sit down with the black people, the blacks. I sit down with the blacks. And the blacks help me come up with these things because I'm going to help the blacks. Because, we did a terrible thing to the blacks. When we locked them up, we got to fix it. We got to help the blacks. And they don't want to get locked up. Back in 1994, the blacks wanted to get locked up. Because, in 1994, with the crime bill that was signed into place by Bill Clinton, drafted by Biden, you do know that came in conjunction with meeting with the Black Caucus and thinking about ways of how we're going to get tough on crime. Right? And this is probably true right here. How are we going to get tough on crime? This is what they did then. And the Black Caucus had their hands in that too. So when I saw that the Black Caucus was also responsible for helping to draft this, my ears perked up. My antennas went up. And I said, there's a problem here. What are they about to do? Don't be fooled, people. We've seen this trickery before. We've been through this before. Anytime they use us for their plan, we already know we're going to get the short end of the stick. We already know some bullshit is going to be delivered down. How is this bill so totally opposite than a crime bill. It's like they're on two ends of the polar. Can we get a happy medium here? Tough on crime. That was the 1994 theme, right? Tough on crime. Tougher on prison sentences. Wasn't that the whole premise of the 1994 crime bill that was drafted by Biden and the Black Caucus, signed into law by the Clintons, right? Isn't that what Biden was about? That's what he was about. He wanted to get tough on the crimes that were happening. There were young thugs, according to them, walking around the street, committing crimes, selling drugs. And then in 2016, when Obama was in chair, this same guy, Joe the Bigot Biden, this same guy said the 1994 crime bill restored American cities. It restored American cities. Now with this act, what is it doing? Destroying American cities. How do you come up with something so opposite than what you came up with in 1994? You wanted to restore American cities, and now you want to destroy American cities. I'm not quite understanding it. I'm not quite understanding it. So now we have the two makers of that. You had Biden, and what you just saw his picture, and we have the wonderful Bill and Hillary Clinton that said, yeah, we're going to sign these super predators into law to get them off the street. We're going to make sure we get tough on these super predators. We're going to lock them up. They're terrorizing the streets. That's what they said, right? They're terrorizing the street. They're creating a lot of crime. They're making it hard for us to live. And nobody should have to live like this. Nobody should have to live like this. So we have to get tough on crime. We have to get tougher on these prison sentences. We have to make sure we improve the Rockefeller laws. We got to make sure we do a better job. And now we're doing something totally different. Now we're saying it's not fair for people to be in jail. You know, we got to take this on a case-by-case basis. Now, I know some of y'all are going to say, well, Doc, of course, they're going to take it on a case-by-case basis. And like you said, some people don't need to be there. And so that's what we're going to use it for. But you do know this is all applicable to how somebody decides to apply the law. You can write anything into law. It still has to be applied. So how do you think the people are going to apply this law? Who do you think this is going to help? And who you think this is going to strategically destroy, if you really think about it? And what I mean by that, let me make sure I'm very clear what I mean by that when I say strategically destroy. Because if you have this in place and you decide to say, you know what, I don't care. Let them go out there. Let them get some more of these ninjas off the street. If he kills somebody, we'll just put another charge on him. They're killing each other anyway. So let him help us. Let him help us kill them so we can get the bad blood off the street anyway. We don't want them here anyway. Might as well. What's going to stop them from doing that? And don't tell me ethics. There's nothing ethical about America. So please do not tell me ethics. What's going to stop them from doing that? Right? That's right, RJ. It will cycle back around. It will cycle back around. And then the next trick bag they're going to sell you is they're going to fix the problem. See, I told you guys in a number of videos, I'm out of here. I can't do this anymore. I told you all in a number of videos, they will create the problem and then sell you the solution. They will create the problem, 1994 crime bill, and then sell you the solution, the Safety Act, the no cash bail policy. They will create the problem and sell you the solution. That's what it's all been built on. They will feed you foods that's going to kill you and then give you the medication that's going to keep you alive. Not save you, not heal you, just keep you alive while you're still suffering and dying. Do you all believe that the chaos that we are experiencing in this world as it comes to the crime in America, the chaos that we are experiencing, do any, who thinks that this is by design? Who thinks that this is happening intentionally? Who thinks that this is the Republicans fighting against the Democrats and the Democrats fighting against the Republicans? Who thinks that we are the pawns to their overall agenda? Right? Somebody said, indeed. New York City is not the only place out of control. Now, New York City is out of control, baby. But New York City is not the only place out of control, right? Somebody says probably make you worse in regards to the meds, right? The situation, somebody says the solution is always the problem. By design, for sure. It's intentional, right? Socially engineered. And that's the truth. That's the truth. So let me tell you something, family, as I start to wrap up to get out of here. Anytime they come up with something like this, you got to question it, family. You got to stop getting excited about this stuff. Anytime they incite fear in you, you got to sit back and you have to question it. You have to be able to say to yourself, is this something I should be afraid of? Because a lot of y'all are suffering from anxiety that they're creating for you, and you don't even realize it's happening. A lot of y'all are suffering from delusion that they're creating for you, and you don't even realize it's happening. A lot of y'all are suffering from psychosis that they're creating for you, hallucinations that they're creating for you, and you don't even realize it's happening. You got to be able to step back and ask yourself, does this make sense? Does it make sense? What is happening behind the scenes I need to be aware of before you start getting afraid? Because you're walking around here afraid. Oh, the purge is coming, baby. The purge has been in your community forever. What are you talking about? There is a lot of unsolved murders in your community, baby. What are you talking about? So remind me again why you're afraid. Remind me again why they can't find the person that shot the 7-year-old in the head. Remind me again. Remind me again why they let out a rapist. Remind me again why they let out the man that always beats his wife every time he gets out until he kills her. Remind me again how they ignore the young adults that's harassing, the young adult man that's harassing his girlfriend, his pregnant girlfriend. He winds up killing her. Remind me again why this stuff happens. You're already in the purge. Right? Right? This is what happens when you place desegregation above tangible reparations. Right? Folks don't believe folks are capable of this in some. Oh, we are very capable of it, right? Never trust anything and always verify. They want to give us a whole bunch of nonsense to act like they're our friends, and we keep falling for the trick bag. Every solution they come up with gets rid of the black youth. Baby, you saying it gets rid of the black youth now. I'm going to push back on you for just a little bit. Let me put you back on the screen just a little bit. Because I understand your mindset. I understand that. And I don't totally disagree with you. Not totally. But I do have some reservations, Alan. I do. This is for Alan. Anyone could chime in. We don't all have to agree. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. And I'm not asking Alan to agree with me. But let me tell you something, Alan. I'm going to take it back to these people here, Alan. We're going to have this conversation. We're going to use this case study because I want to make sure everyone's emotion stays within reason and in check so we can make sense of this all, right? So we're going to talk about this case study. Give me a second, Alan. Give me 1 second. We're going to bring up. This is the Queens, all right? We're going to talk about this right here, Alan. Every solution they come up with gets rid of the black youth. Alan. Now, we can talk about systemic things. We understand there are some systemic issues that exist that we need to address, and the way we're addressing it is not working, right? Because we're all not on the same page, right? And I agree with it. There's some systemic issues. I'm all for it. You already know what I talk about when I talk about the destruction of the Black home. I understand it. But now let's really get critical. We're going to be critical thinkers. We have to be able to analyze all sides of this. All sides of this, right? All sides of it. Where do we become responsible for this youth? And if you need me to ask it a different way, I will. But when do we become responsible for these youth that are out there? When do we take some accountability for how our youth is showing up? I'm just asking a question because I think we have to be able to see these things from multiple angles. And the problem I've been having recently is people are not looking at these things from multiple angles. They're getting upset, they're getting angry, and they're being one-sided. One-sided. They're not seeing everything. When do we become responsible, Alan, for these youth? Who's the mother? Who's the father? Who's the auntie? Who's the grandma? Who's the uncle? Who's the neighbor? We got to be able to do that. Right? That's right, Mr. X. Mr. X said, word on the street is critical thinkers are conspiracy theories, right? Right? Somebody said we need dads on duties. We do need dads on duties, but guess what? Guess what? We also need mothers to do some work too. And I think we got to look at things from all angles, right? I think it starts at home, but the government stacks the deck. And I'm saying to you, I'm not in disagreement with you. But if it starts at home, what does that look like? Because there's a lot of us, Alan. Let's just be honest, Alan. And I ain't going to use nobody else. I'm going to use myself. But I know that I'm not the only person out there like this. Alan, I grew up in the Bronx. I've been educated in New York City for all of my life, with the exception of my doctorate. Well, not New York City all of my life. New York, the state of New York. So I went upstate for my degrees. But I've been educated in New York. I got myself, and I'm not saying this has to be everyone's case. I'm not saying it. I'm only using my story. That's it. No one else's story. My story. I got myself to college on the bus with my friend took my bags, my clothes to school in a car with him, his grandfather, his mother, his father himself. There was no room for me. And so they took my clothes. We went to high school together. I still am brothers and sisters with him today, right? I still call him my brother. Took my clothes up to college. I got on the bus. No money in my pocket, but money enough for a bus ticket. And I got on that bus and I went 5 hours to school. And I never came back. I never came back. I grew up with a mom who was poor, on welfare. I didn't grow up a stranger to the system one iota. Food stamps that used to come out the book, remember, brown, purple, green, the colorful money that you was embarrassed to use. I grew up with the colorful money. I grew up with Medicaid. I grew up with ass whoopings. And my mother's use of a belt was an extension cord. She got it in when she felt disrespected. You understand what I'm trying to say? So I'm not afraid of telling these things because that was my story. That was my story. And I kept going and going and going, even when I wanted to fail and drop out. I had my daughter as a junior in college, and I still graduated on time in 4 years. I'm not saying this is everybody's story. I'm saying this is my story. I'm not trying to give it to everyone's story. I had a mother who didn't allow people to tell her no, who made sure she put me in schools that my district would not allow me to go to, and fight them at the Board of Education, fight them at the main office to make sure that we were not in the schools where children were not learning. Our district school, growing up poor, our district school, nobody was learning in that school. You're going to go to school with war. You're going to go to school fighting. Now, I'm not going to say I ain't getting fights all the time. I got in fights all the time regardless in the schools that I went to. But it was better in those schools than the schools that my district had me going to. Right? But my point is, when we say it starts with the family, what does that look like? What does that look like? See, we say these things, but we have to be able to think critically. Yes, we know the history of the government. Yes, we know there are things in this world that is stacked against us. Yes, those things are all existing. We are discriminated against every day. I just got discriminated against yesterday. Yesterday, while picking my child up from school by one of the school officials. And I was the black Karen today to let them know I'm not the one. And you know, you have to complain to the upper ups, right? I'm not going to argue with people. I'm not arguing with people on his level, right? But my point is, discrimination impacts me every day. Every day I want to put somebody's head through the wall. Every day I'm taking pictures of jokers who looking at me like I haven't been living here forever and they still trying to question if I deserve to be here. Every day I go through it. So I'm not in disagreement with you, Alan. I'm not in disagreement with you, but I'm saying things are really getting bad, Alan, on our streets. And I don't think enough of us are acknowledging that. And that's what's upsetting me. Not with you guys in this chat. I'm just saying in general. That's what's upsetting me. We're not talking about what we're doing to contribute to some of this rowdy behavior. We're not talking about it. We're not talking about it. So we want to be able to just say, oh, this is the reason why. That is a reason why. It is definitely a reason why, but is it the reason why? When are we going to change that narrative? Because as long as we keep blaming somebody, we don't have to take accountability. That's what victims do. You want to fight the right way. Fight the way we're fighting for the reparations that we need. But even in that, we still got to take accountability for the things that we're doing currently. Right? That's right, Voodoo. I agree with you, Voodoo. And Voodoo and I, we don't always agree on everything, right, Voodoo? But I agree with Voodoo. He said everybody is crazy and we are programmed to act like everything is normal. Right? Right? It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. So listen, family, that's all I have from y'all today, right? Somebody said, substance abuse is the elephant in the room nobody wants to address. Substance abuse is not the only elephant in the room. Not everybody is a substance abuser, right? Mental health is also an elephant in the room that we don't properly address in our community. So not that I'm disagreeing with you, because I'm not in disagreement. What I'm saying to you, we cannot just say it's one thing. And that's what drives me so crazy about our community. We always blame it on one thing. It is not one thing. There's a lot of things that are happening here. And we have to address each and every one of these things. We have to. It's not just one thing. It's not just substance abuse. It's not just institutions. It's not just mental illness. It's not just the white man. Is everything, including us. Including us. And that's what I'm saying, including us. We have normalized so many things that are not healthy for our community. We have normalized it. I know I said I was leaving. I am leaving, but I want to be able to say this to y'all, and then I'm out here. I'm out here. Let me say this to y'all. I was watching Netflix the other day. And this has nothing to do with the Save T Act, okay? But I want to put things into perspective. I was watching Netflix the other day. It is a whack-ass movie that has Queen Latifah in it. I don't know if y'all saw that one, right? Let me know if y'all saw that movie. It's called End of the Road, if I'm not mistaken. End of the Road. So it's a whack-ass movie with Queen Latifah in it. And that movie was disgusting to watch. Let me tell you why it was disgusting for me to watch. It emasculated the black male. And so, okay, I'm not going to jump. It emasculated the black male. It made the women, like the ones that were about it, was going to keep their family alive, right? The daughter was able to pull a gun that her big-ass uncle couldn't do. Come on now. Queen Latifah saving them, beating people in the head like with the bats. I mean, come on now. But the uncle wasn't doing anything, and the nephew, Queen Latifah's son in the movie, was just as scared of his punk ass uncle. But the daughter and the mother was distraught. See, y'all gotta understand now. This is all by design. This is all by design. And what's so sad is, even though it was a Netflix movie, even though it was, when you look at the snapshot of some of our homes, not all of our homes, but when you look at the snapshot of some of our homes, how many women have been emasculating in their homes and in their families? Let's just be honest. And I'm not beating up on the women. I'm not beating up on the women. What I'm trying to say is, when we buy into these kind of narratives, and we run with these kind of narratives and we don't question these things, we ultimately hurt our own community, because other people are telling us what we should be angry at. Other people are telling us what we should think. Other people are telling us how we should vote. Other people are telling us what we should wear, what kind of music we should listen to, the kind of things we should post on social media. But how many of us are thinking for ourselves? How many of us are teaching our children to think for ourselves? How many of us are holding our children accountable? How many of us are not afraid to discipline our children? And I'm not saying beat them over the head and kill them. So I know some of y'all are ridiculous, right? I'm not saying that. I'm saying that we have to take on our accountability too. We have to fight the system. That's one fight. And that's a very real fight. But we have to fight our community too. And we have to change the way our community is doing things too. And if we're ignoring it, if we're acting like it's not our community, I'm concerned for us. This is Mental Health Fridays. We're talking truth here. I'm concerned for us. Right? I'm concerned for us. Somebody said brother was soft and son was crying, right? I was looking at them like, oh, hell to the no. We ain't doing that. I got to turn this off. I can't watch this. I can't watch. So that's right? Somebody said, including the film Lady King. That's what I'm talking about. We got to question all of this, because I would have to say to my melanin community, we are a beautiful bunch of people. And if we can just be on code, and if we can just make some adjustments, if we could be okay with mental health, if we could be okay with addressing jokers in our community that are abusing substances, if we could be okay with saying this is not acceptable, if we could be okay with stopping people from fighting, we could be okay with taking back our own communities by standing up against the people who are destroying our community, the kids that's destroying our community, the mothers, the fathers, and even grandmamas out here acting crazy, family. If we can be okay with standing up and taking back our communities, we could be successful at destroying a system that is stacked up against us. You cannot fight a system if your community is divided. I'm going to make that very clear. You cannot fight a system if your community is divided. So we can go ahead and complain about the system all we want. We're going to be complaining for the next 400 years. We're going to be complaining for the next 400 years. And it still don't preclude the fact that we got a lot of crime that's out of control in our community. And half of the people in our community, along with the other liberals running around here, want us to get rid of the police, because we all hate the police, right? Now, we all hate the unjust cops. We all hate the criminalistic cops. We all hate the unlawful and unjust shootings and killings. Yeah, of course we hate that. Of course. But are we really serious, family? Are we really saying we want no cops? Is that what we really are saying? Because if we're saying, I'm just gonna hang it up. I'm gonna hang it up. I'm being honest with you. If this is what our fight is, if we say we don't want no, I'm just gonna hang it up, family. I'm not entertaining that kind of nonsense, because next thing you know, I'm gonna be the one getting knocked over my head and knocked out. I haven't even shown you half the videos I get. There was a video of a young lady walking home, minding her business. Some guy gets out the car, tries to kidnap this woman. She's trying to get away. She's struggling to get back. She happens to pull out her pistol and popped his ass and killed him on the street. That's what I'm talking about. I'm just being honest with you. She popped him and killed him on the street. If you telling me that we all got to be in a wild, wild west, and we all just got to defend ourselves, and some of y'all ain't going to pull no trigger. Let's just be honest. Some of y'all scared of guns. Some of y'all ain't going to pull no trigger. Some of y'all not going to educate yourself. Some of y'all talk a lot of smack, but don't go to self-defense classes, don't know what to do. Somebody was come after you. Some of y'all don't know what to. Some of y'all are helpless, can't even save yourself from yourself. Some of y'all are out of control, but y'all don't want no cops. I don't understand it. Can we stop saying stupid things like that? Right? Can we stop doing that? Some of y'all just like to talk just to talk and don't do nothing to save yourself. Talking about no cash bail. Your ass gonna get locked up and you gonna have a cash bail and you ain't gonna have no money because you're not prepared. Right? I'm just trying to say. We need to be on one accord for reparations, like we were on one accord for civil rights to end Jim Crow, even if we have a different routes to get there. You are absolutely right, but we're not on one accord. We got jokers like the Black Caucus shaking hands with the liberals and telling y'all to vote for the liberals. And some of y'all falling for it. Then you get the crime bill, and when you wake up to see all the deficits in it, you're like, oh, this is unjust. Now you don't worry about the crime. You ain't no criminal anymore. You can kill and do whatever you want to do. And we like, this is good. I don't understand us. I'm out. Listen, family, like and share the video. Subscribe to the channel. Do me that favor. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you are on YouTube and give the video a thumbs up. You can give it a thumbs down too if you want to. I don't care. Do something. Just get the algorithms going. If you are on Facebook, go ahead and share the video, like and follow the page, and go ahead and give me some hearts, angry faces, sad faces. Give me something that you want to do. And let me tell you something. I'm getting out of here because it's 11:17 at night. Ladies, y'all know, if you don't know, you need to follow me on Instagram. You see my page there. Follow me on Instagram. That's where you're going to learn about my life on Instagram. You're going to learn about my relationship on Instagram. I mean, talking about with my partner. I know some of y'all don't like my partner, Officer Stedman. Y'all don't like my partner. You know we don't care. Y'all need to give a shout out to Officer Stedman because these topics was his. Right? He wanted to show you guys what was going on out there, and y'all was all surprised. Oh my God, he knocked them out. Okay, he wants y'all to know what he deal with on a daily basis. But y'all don't want him around. Y'all don't want my Officer Stedman around. Y'all want to abolish all the police. You want him to be gone. You want to be knocking people out in the street. You want to be okay with knocking people out in the goddamn street. Y'all okay with it. That's what y'all want. Y'all like, F her man. Lock him up. Right? Throw the key on her man. We don't need him around our hood. Meanwhile, y'all getting popped at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Don't call him. Don't call him. Leave my man alone. Don't call him. Do not call my man when you get popped at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Don't call my phone and say, Doc, can you run this by your boo? This is what I'm going through. This is the problem I have. I'm going to say, no, we are not available. We are not officers when it's after hours, right? Don't call me. Don't text me talking about what does this mean? I was charged with this because I sucker punched my boyfriend in the head and now I got cuffs off and I'm in jail. Don't call us, boo boo. We ain't gonna tell you nothing. No, I'm just kidding. Listen, I love you all. Have a great night. I'm gonna go ahead and get my massage candle going. We do our massages on Fridays. Go get our massages. So go ahead and visit my website, helping couples reconnect.com. You can go ahead and get your massage or your candles, and you can get a massage tonight. Or you can get your pheromone. If you don't have a man, you can go ahead and attract yourself a man, right? Turn off the light is the number one pheromone. You can go ahead and get that and attract yourself a man. But I got my man, and we got our weapons. Because y'all ain't going to knock our asses out on the street. I'll tell you that much. You ain't going to knock our asses out on the street. I'll tell you that much. But anyway, I love you all. Have a great night.